Jack Maturko, how are you today?
I'm doing okay, Andy. How are you?
I think I'm doing okay, Jack. I
You
think
think?
I am.
You think you are?
I think I am.
Are you
And
not
if I
sure?
keep,
How are you feeling about the Delta variant up there in Boston?
well, my girlfriend and I, we had to give away our John Mulaney tickets because he's performing indoors, and even though we're both vaccinated, I don't feel confident enough being in an enclosed area for over an hour with people laughing and spewing whatever they're spewing.
And they're not requiring masks in mass at this point for that.
I don't even know, dude. I don't think they're. I haven't heard anything about it, and even with masks, there's going to be someone who does something stupid, and in a large theater, because the Wilbur Theater here in Boston, it's a good sized theater. I just
What are
don't
the?
trust it.
Do you know? Do you happen to know, like off the top of your head, what the ballpark vaccination rates are for the greater Boston area?
We're doing pretty well, to tell you the truth. We are doing pretty well.
Right around 70% for like Manhattan and New York.
Yeah, I think we are definitely comparable to our foes, the New York.
Yeah, I think right there you're way better off than I am out here in Arizona, where everybody's yeehaw Trump fuckers.
Well, Jack, we're still taking applications for people to come out here to Massachusetts and live.
Well, there are some life complications that would prevent that being a full-time kind of arrangement, unfortunately.
Oh, I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying, and my heart goes out.
You hear what I'm saying, and there's some stuff we can talk about later. I can really vent my spleen about some of those topics, but
spleen. I don't even know where my spleen is. Is it somewhere around my liver?
It's like over vital to the like more center than the liver. Like I have a anyway. Yeah, spleen venting sometime when we get a chance. What are we doing this week, Andy?
Well, I had this lovely conversation with Andrew Spitzas, Dr. Spitzas, and he dislikes it when I call him. Use him because he's a psychiatrist. He's a movie reviewer, and he writes Secular Cinephile on Pathos Non-Religious that you may be acquainted with. Pathos Non-Religious.
I think we're all acquainted with Pathos Non-Religious, yeah.
Indeed. Though you are the only religious blogger on Pathos Non-Religious.
That's true. And that all stems from when Pathos made the decision to change it from the Atheist channel to the Non-Religious channel shortly after we got the Satanist blog there, which, I'm not gonna lie, felt like a bit of a slight.
But, a little. I can see that. So this conversation I had with Dr. Spitzas, with Andrew, it was about the best advice he ever got. And it's a short conversation, maybe about 15 minutes, but he drops down some wisdom that I think everyone should enjoy.
I'm all for that. I've read a lot of his stuff, and I think I would say I'm a regular follower of Andrew's stuff over on the Pathos.
Yeah, really smart guy. Gives some real insight into film and movies.
Mm-hmm.
So what else have you been up to, sir?
Well, I spent the better part of the last week in Vegas working on a film project with some friends. So that was enjoyable. It does mean that things are in a bit of a disarray around the house right now. I feel like over the next couple days is when I really get things kind of sorted out and back into regular home life. That's the weird thing that I don't miss from before the pandemic is the amount of time that travel takes.
Oh, yeah.
It's just unfortunate that we don't have folding space and teleporters, so I could just, because if I could walk out my door in the morning and go down the street and go through a little thing and 5 minutes later be on the East Coast to go to work, that'd be amazing. But
isn't Elon Musk supposed to be doing stuff like that?
I know they're all talking about outer space now for some reason, but
damn them. Well, as you well know, we have Bertha Vasquez coming on the show for next Monday. I'm very excited about it.
From Richard Dawkins Foundation Ties Initiative, right?
Yes, that is correct. We're going to be talking about evolution. What the hell is going on with Florida? Because she's down in Florida and she's a teacher in Florida.
Oh, well, I'm sure there's some contentious things to talk about going on there.
Yes. There will be some commiseration, and my heart goes out to her and all the teachers who are doing their best during the pandemic.
It's true. It's true. The unsung heroes of this entire thing. Seems to me that they kind of get short shrift in the pats on the back most of the time.
I think you're spot on with that. Under normal circumstances,
yeah, in the best of times,
they're taking money out of their own pockets to buy school supplies. They're working more than 40 hours a week. There's an expectation to do after-school projects. It's tough. It's tough when there isn't a deadly virus kicking around.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see how she is faring and how her organization is dealing with COVID-19.
I'm sure it's been a struggle.
Yeah, dude. How can it not be, right?
But at least it's Dawkins Foundation. At least it's science-based, and they're out there saying viruses are real, vaccines work.
These are important things.
God will not protect you.
Let's go over the basics. The earth is round. Viruses are real. Vaccines work.
Believing in your imaginary friend hard enough won't make you immune to the virus. I'm sorry.
No. Wrapping yourself up in God is not going to help the situation at all.
Well,
all right. I think this is a good place to roll the tape.
Okay. Well, we'll see you next week then.
Take care, everyone. All right. So we should actually start talking about, the best advice you ever heard.
All right. Well, I pondered this after you first messaged me about this, and it feels semi-ridiculous to say this is what first came to mind. I've done therapy. I've been a therapist. I dig, philosophy, what have you. But the best advice that immediately came to mind came from a William Shatner book that I read a dozen years ago. And it was his, Shatner Rules. It's kind of a memoir wrapped up as an advice book. And one of the chapters was entitled Say Yes. And it's one of those things where I was at a point in my life where I was fairly recently divorced, had made a not terribly great career choice or not terribly great job choice at that point in time, and was feeling stuck. And I think those situations had led me to be a little more cautious and reluctant about engaging with the world at large. So it's basically work and raising my kids. And it was just the right words at the right time, where he talked about how saying yes in his career had opened a lot of doors. And it just prompted me to reflect on where I was at that point and say, this is not great. I need adult contact. I need to move out of this funk that I'm in. And not long after that, I was given a job offer that was much more appealing. And instead of my tendency to overthink it and probably pull away from it, I did say yes to it. And it was a good job choice. And I think it was just the feedback loop started, seeing that, saying yes to things and, taking positive steps was going to be a good thing. So it was not long after that I got involved with a local atheist socializing group through Meetup, where, as chance would have it, I met my current wife. And I'd always loved traveling and taking my kids on adventures as far as I could afford. And it kind of nudged me to start exposing them to the wider world, and made some great memories with them. And it just made a notable difference at that time.
Or we as skeptics, it's easier for us to say no to things?
That's an interesting question. I think certainly when we're called on to give credence to things, I think naturally we're more reluctant to do so, to follow authority figures or follow the leader. But I think that's more of a temperamental thing, as far as what we say yes and they say no to in our day-to-day life. And I think temperamentally, I'm more of an introvert, like a lot of psychiatrists and therapists. We live inside our head a whole lot of the time. So I think those sorts of things, as far as diving into social situations or embracing novelty, I think that's more temperamental than what our belief system is.
Have you used it while doing therapy?
Have I used what exactly?
Saying yes. Have you suggested the possibility of one of your clients, one of the people that you see, that saying yes could help them out of a funk?
Oh, definitely, definitely. It's certainly not a cure-all by any means, but I think, again, if someone is more involuted, whether it be through depression, social anxiety, it feeds into good cognitive behavioral techniques to not go immediately to a negative interpretation of the world around you, and to be open to a more positive interpretation.
I found, because we're recording this during the Delta variant uptick, I found that during the darkest days of the pandemic, that I just started saying yes to whatever opportunities came at me, and I found that helpful.
Okay. Like what, for instance?
If I was invited on a show
Mm-hmm.
on YouTube, I would say yes. I'm just going to go do it, and it has helped me, to tell you the truth.
Yeah. I can see that, especially where there is this enforced isolation that the pandemic has brought upon us, where we, even introverts like me, we need human contact, and reaching out for that is meaningful. So, and especially being a telepsychiatrist, where this is my office. It's 10 steps away from my dining room, 5 steps from my kitchen, where you need to have an opportunity to reach out. So there, I haven't conceptualized it as saying yes, but when opportunities came up to play Dungeons and Dragons through Zoom, it was like, hell yeah, we're going to do this. We need to interact with human beings, even if it's by way of a screen.
Right. I've just been reading about the negativity bias, about how our brains glom onto negative information more than positive information. And I think saying yes could be an effective way of protecting ourselves from it.
Totally true. Yeah, it's the old cliche about it takes 10 attaboys to eradicate the effects of one oh shit, or one bad job done. So I think it's totally true. So yeah, and here as well, individuals who are more pessimistic through temperament or through experiences with depression, there is going to be that tendency to conceptualize the world as an unsafe place, or a place where shitty things happen. So having that mindset is, I think, a helpful technique there too.
Well, I think I learned something today. And because it's easy for me to hold on to negative things. Just when you said the world's not a dangerous place, I'm going,
well, it sort of kind of is presently.
Yeah. But I'm gonna continue to insulate myself with the power of yes. That's what I'm gonna do.
I think that's an effective strategy when we're dealing with a pandemic.
Fantastic. Well, doctor. I know you're like, Andy, don't call me doctor, but I'm going to call you Dr. Andrew Spitzas. Thank you for coming on Best Advice Ever. Where can people find you online, sir?
Yeah, I'm on Pathos at the Secular Cinephile column. During the height of the Trump era, I was writing about the horrors of Trumpism and his malignant narcissism, but these days I'm back to writing film reviews.
Fantastic. Well, thanks again for coming on.
Well, thanks for inviting me. You're a great conversationalist. I enjoy our chances to talk like this.
Always fun. Always fun, sir.
Yeah, same here.
Take care.
You too.
Okay.